Hello, how's it going? And welcome back to the MentorFX Private Mentorship. This is webinar 147. It is a pleasure to be here with everyone today. Looking forward to talking to all of you, as always. So, my screen should be sharing now. You guys should be able to hear me. It looks like that's the case right now. As always, before we even start, just remember that, actually I'll put a disclaimer in the beginning so it's fine. But very simply, you are completely free to ask any questions you want. Try to keep them consistent with kind of the courses you've worked through with them. Or if you're brand new, I'd like to welcome you to the team. I want to tell you that you made a really good choice. However it is that you made this choice, you made a very good choice to be here. And I look forward to seeing you kind of flourish and grow over your time here. And hopefully get you using a lot of the tools that we now use every single week to catch some of these most amazing markets. For anyone that is new or isn't new, some of the notable followers for the last few weeks have been GBTC, basically Bitcoin USD. We've been following this thing, as you guys know, since around October, and still it is relentless and moving beautifully. And I personally will continue following this, but we're going to talk about that later today when we do a full-on kind of breakdown of why we're watching certain markets. But notable ones have been Bitcoin specifically. A lot of the XXX JPY pairs, we've been very bullish on these, even though it's been a little bit slower now. The expectation is still to see them move, and they've been moving, which is beautiful to see. US oil, very recent beginner to a move, but traded it all this week, and just been some beautiful moves out of this thing. You can see that even though I don't trade all the moves and I'm not in most of the action, I'm still able to do very well for myself, just following kind of my rules and following what I teach you guys to do here today, which is actually going to be part of today's discussion. Soybeans, somebody brought this thing up, I think last week. I don't remember who it was. If you're here, congratulations, you made me some money. Somebody brought up soybeans, and I said it was clean for shorts, but I wasn't sure. And then exactly what we were looking for, if you guys remember, we kind of drew this thing out, began to happen. So I took a trade on it, and then almost all week it spent its time playing around like these prices, and then took me out of break even on a Wednesday. So very boring, but that's all good. This is just kind of the quick overview. Gold, this thing has been an absolute 10 million bagger for anyone that's traded this thing. This has just been beautiful, and we'll talk about the trades taken on this with you guys today as well. So looking forward to doing that. But yeah, those have been the main followers. So for anyone new, just know that some of the stuff that I just went over that you've probably on your own seen has delivered very beautifully, and maybe weren't able to be a participant, or even worse, were a participant but on the opposite side of the market, which tends to be a lot of people. Well, then today, this is kind of your message that, hey, you found a place where you're going to learn how to nail these things as well, how to spot them before they move, how to know optimal times to actually start watching them, if it's even worth it, and then actually get involved, right? Which is, well, arguably the most important stuff in trading, right? So that's what's on the agenda today. Just working through a few markets, looking over a few more for what we're going to continue to watch or starting to watch, look over some of the stuff that you guys have been personally taking or are personally watching to see if there's something that I can add to my list, because as a lot of you know, the stuff on my list here comes from you guys. Funny enough, I do my own analysis, of course. I haven't done a very, very deep dive. So what I mean by that is sometimes, usually once a week, maybe once a month, I'll do a dive through kind of everything I personally can, anything I can, because the screener, as you guys know, does not contain all the markets at the moment. We're working so hard to get every market here and then get it properly filtered, so it's going to be a lot easier to filter through everything, and by that point it's going to be even better. But at the moment, a lot of the markets that I've been trading and I've gotten have been from you guys. You guys would ask me about something that you've either traded or are trading or are watching, and I'd add it to my list or keep it off my list or whatever it might be. It's actually, I think, one of the reasons that gold ended up showing up, or soybeans for sure, oil as well. Oil I wasn't watching for a while until somebody asked about it, I think last week. And then this week I had just an absolutely amazing run on this thing. you know, I only got positioned once. The others were all break evens, but that's okay, because that's trading for you in a nutshell. But we'll talk about all of these trades today as well. So yes. Well, my computer here is going a little bit crazy, isn't it? Interesting. Okay. It's a little bit laggy, huh? Whatever. I'll fix it later. It's no worries. Beautiful Sunday. Always a beautiful Sunday, man. Nika says coffee, webinar, ready to go. Good stuff, man. Disable annotations taken care of. Yep, thank you very much. So 147, cool. All right, let's get through this. So Jordy says, damn dog, almost halfway to 200. Yes, we are, dude. Very excited for that. Anime Lover says, hey Ment, are you still doing the 1RR system? Yes and no. Mostly no, but yes. Again, that was all in a lot of testing, and I never went for a 1RR kind of ever. That was all based on the testing and providing a viewpoint that a lot of you might have missed before in regards to RR and what RR can look like and what a profitable trading system can look like, right? When I recorded all that data, because it was all for data collection, I pointed out that a 1RR based system would cause a very high win rate on an account, which could allow for different kind of risk profiles, which is important because, again, most of this market is, once you have the analysis complete, you're going to work on your risk and how you're going to risk and how you're going to manage. That's all part of that game, right? So if you know how to figure out the markets you're going to watch, or when you're going to watch them, or when you're going to enter them, and now you can find the most, let's call it the most optimized version of risk that works for you as a human, okay? So whether that be your actual management, whether that be how much you risk, whether that be how heavily you compound, whether that be, you know, like whatever that number might be, whatever that reason might be, those two things together is what create a very, very good system, right? So it's not that I ever kind of started doing the 1RR system. Even when I traded the trades that were in line with the 1RR system, I still used a trailing method, or at least a burst-based method, right? And I actually ended up with, as you know, because that system was basically looking at a 9 or a 10 EMA, right? So I ended up with these 3 EMAs at the moment as kind of the best merger between what can create runners and what gets me into the move quickly. And when I get in now, given that all of these kind of line up for what I usually look for, and again, we'll go over some of the trades I took this week just to showcase exactly what those things are, from the models to the MAs to the time frame perspective, it creates the best possible chance for a good runner, which is what I want to look for, because it creates these kind of moments where I can get into a move and hopefully be in it longer term, right? And then, of course, in this case, this thing went, 60 RR, but I got stopped out down here. But this is still a very large move in regards to where I got into where it ended, right? Like, the Bitcoin could do the same thing right now. If we look at the 4 hour, because I entered this on the 4 hour, right? It could simply stop, like I even drew this out. It could simply stop me out right now, right? And then start on a run that I don't get in, and then do something like this. So actually, since a lot of you actually look at Bitcoin itself, right? So very simply, it can easily come, stop me out of my trade, right? Just like this, and then go on an unprecedented run, just like this, to like 90K, or like 84K or whatever. And I just won't be able to, and I might not be participating in that. And that's fine, right? This move right here, if this ever happened, would be the exact same as what happened this week for me on gold, right? Where I took a trade, I got stopped out. This would be the same thing, right? It starts to move, it stops you out, and then it makes a crazy move to new all-time highs, right? Bitcoin can do the exact same thing right now on a 4 hour chart, and that's fine. But you just need to notice that, this is just how markets are going to function, right? Some people that took longs here on crypto, right, and got stopped out like here, might have missed this move here, and that's fine for them because they could have easily, you know, secured millions based on the account size they're trading or whatever off of this move alone. So it's, you know, this is just part of trading, just understanding that as you're managing your trades, you're guaranteeing through management that you're going to be stopped out. A lot of people don't understand this about their trading. They think that because they're managing, they're going to catch the bulk of the move, but it's actually the opposite. The fact that you're managing is actually guaranteeing with a high probability likelihood that you're going to be stopped out. The more you manage, right? The more you manage a trade, or the heavier you manage, or the higher up you manage, the significantly higher likelihood that you'll be stopped out, right? But you want to be stopped out because getting stopped out means that your EV has been realized and you've made money. But then being stopped out later, in some cases, would mean that you realized more EV, right? Or you made more money. So that's kind of what happened on Bitcoin for me, right? Where, you know, I kind of started this move, realized some EV here, some right here, and then I had my stop down here, if you guys remember. And then price didn't want to take me out, and it kept going. So now I've realized more EV, but I don't do this at the sadness of knowing that, oh no, if it stopped me out and then goes, it's gonna fucking suck, right? Instead, it's the fact that I'm able to now secure more just for that simple rule. And if it wants to stop me out here, I'm so happy with this trade that even if it then goes and doubles again, right? Even if Bitcoin goes and makes a new move to 140K without me, right? If my money was made just from here to here, which might be the case, sorry, from there to there, which might be the case, right? I'm fully okay with it because I know that moves like this one are gonna repeat another 1,000 times in the next month on 10,000, 20,000 different pairs based on the ones that I'm looking at, right? So there's never going to be an issue of FOMO associated with what I'm looking for or how I'm doing it, right? I don't know why. How did I even get into this? He asked me about a 1-hour system. How did that happen? Oh yeah, but overall, I like trailing systems. I like to be in stuff that I can manage and make more just by simply following a simple management rule, right? And if I can help it, which I found for myself, if I can help it where instead of just getting involved in the moment like this, which is actually what that kind of system was based on, where I enter here, you know, go to break even, get a break even. Enter again, maybe get a break even or get a quick loss, right? Enter, actually this one's not clean, but you know, maybe enter here, get a quick partial, quick break even. That's okay. But I wanted something where I'm entering kind of that same way, but doing so in an area that allows for a potential larger runner, right? So all I'm looking for is if you think about the market as moving in a stage 1 into stage 2 and doing that on repeat, instead of entering here, which, you know, you can do and be very profitable doing, I want to find a way to enter in a quicker way, in a quicker fashion, in or around these areas here, so that then I have the opportunity to catch this, because it just allows for, in my case, more money to be made for less work, right? Because I do a lot less work, right? Like being in this trade, I've been in this trade for I think like over 2 months now. Yeah, so I've been in crypto, I've been in Bitcoin for about 2 months now. The most work I've done on it is every day when I wake up, I go like this, I go, okay, and I move on, right? That's how much work I'm doing right now for the potential of making more money, right? So very simply now, if price does this, right? How much work do you think I'm going to do on Bitcoin alone in the next month again, if it does continue to go up, right? Yeah, about 4 mouse clicks maybe throughout the day, right? Maybe even less, because it's a 4-hour chart. So maybe 1 mouse click a day. And if it keeps going, then 1 mouse click to prove that it's still going and 1 mouse click to move my stop higher up. Right, that's as much work as I have to do for the potential of making more money, right? Just to prove this, just to kind of showcase this point. If we jump into, where's that Google Drive link? The data collection, we just made that video, as you guys know. I'm gonna make a new copy of this, fake copy, right? So for instance, like the reason that I like the potential of a longer term move rather than kind of scalping into each independent move, because like very quickly guys, is this a bad trade independently if you just took a buy stop right here through this high, based on any rules that someone might have? Is that a bad trade? The answer is actually no, right? Because there are some rules that will permit for someone to take a trade like this. It's as simple as that. Almost any trade is actually going to follow that synopsis, right? But when you get in a trade like this, you're guaranteeing that it's going to be a smaller move because of where it is. So this is contextually. This is a 4-hour chart. So you might even take a 2RR or a 1RR based trade out of this, and that's happy for you, but you're going to be doing a lot more work because every day that you show up, you're now looking for the next potential trade, and you might get this one or this one. And those are new trades, right? So in just this week, 22 days in this month, you might have to be coming out every single day to try and find a potential move that's occurring, right? If you're looking at a 4-hour chart versus waiting for a potential reset and then entering on the same kind of trade. So let me ask you guys another question. Is this trade here the same as, in terms of just the ICI, no context, as this trade here or this trade here? The answer is yes, of course, right? It's the same trade. The only difference now is context. And if you're contextually someone that's going to trade within something that has made more of a flush out or more of a reaccumulation, that's going to inherently mean you're in for a larger move if it works. Does everyone understand how that works? That if there's a market and you're getting in here, the likelihood of it continuing to deliver like this becomes less so. If it then reaccumulates and flushes out, and then you get into a same situation trade right here, which is the same trade, but it just looks a little bit different, the odds of it doing this is significantly higher, right? So you need to understand what contexts work best for the type of trading that you want to accomplish or the kind of trading you want to do. This is and will be forever profitable. You can be profitable with a system like this. You just need to understand the benefits and the discomforts, or the non-benefits, whatever you call it, disadvantages of trading each independent system, right? Can anyone give me a disadvantage? Because a lot of people are going to see this and go, that's not a disadvantage. What is a disadvantage of this system right here? It's actually going to be in line with an example that I just provided right here. What is one disadvantage of this kind of trading where you're waiting for this kind of move? Jordan got it on the dot. Exactly. You will miss out on moves. If you're waiting and your system is around waiting for some kind of larger reaccumulation that allows you to get in and then sail the next large leg higher, well, if the market does keep doing this, you are not going to be in it. If the market does that and keeps doing it, so for instance, if it did it right here, I would not be in it. Now I'm watching for another trade because it's taken its time and it's very clean now, and I'll go over this today for why I'm continuing to watch it. But if at this moment right here, it continued to make a large move, okay, I would likely, on the 4-hour at least, well actually, I mean, it had a reset, so it's kind of unfair to do that, but if it doesn't pause again, which it didn't, I would miss out on the move. Right, that's one of the disadvantages to doing this, right? Where if a market does move, I'm gonna miss out. And can anyone tell me the problem that comes with that, especially for someone that might be intermediate or a beginner in the trading space? When there's a system that is very likely to miss out on those moves, what's going to happen to that person when they're watching a market, or when they're watching all the YouTubes and Instagrams of the world that are telling them that there's all these crazy big moves and crypto's moving? Yeah, FOMO. Right? And FOMO is going to eat you alive, right? Because, well, if you're not in this move and then it goes to make another move to 90K on Bitcoin to 150K, you're going to feel like you're doing something so wrong that you're gonna let go of all morals, all emotion, and just funnel into Bitcoin at 150K. Because you can't miss out on this anymore. You can't do it. And if you guys remember, this is exactly what happened right here. It happened right here. If anyone remembers this, at this time right here, during 2021, is when all the news articles started coming out. When all the grandmas of the world were going, son, you have to be in Bitcoin. And the son's like, fuck, gotta get in Bitcoin. Everyone got in it and got flushed out. Not only that, but then they sold off their positions. And here, at all-time new highs, they did it again. People at this point were like, they couldn't even imagine this thing not going to 100K. At this point, the entire world was 100K is a guaranteed next move on this right now. And then you got your months the next beautiful months, 411 days straight. And then if you want to count context, about 833 days, 2.5 years of chop and downwards moving price. Pure beauty. At which point, everyone forgot about this thing. And this is when our screener started showing longs. This is when we started looking for longs again. And here we are. It's a beautiful thing. And now as this thing reaches probably 90K again, or new 90K high, the people that did what they did here are going to do it here. And you can then expect, almost guaranteed, a few months of chop or downwards moving action until new runs. Because that's how markets move. Right, it's been a very beautiful thing to watch. On crypto especially, recently, at least, because it's very recent and that's what's happening right now, right? Hello, Anton. My first live webinar. Glad to be here. What's up, Franco? Good to have you on, man. Can you run through the new update on the indicator? Yeah, so we just updated a few stuff on the indicator. It's very, very simple. You now have the ability to show ICI lines. I'm going to update the thing where the colors are not working right now, but that's fine. So if you click on this, all it does on any given time frame that you're entering, so let's say GC, right? Because I traded this recently. Let me just show you what it would have looked like. It's very, very simple. It's not complicated, nothing like complex. It's just showing you the ICI. So like right here, right, it'll show you the two most recent bullish ones and the two most recent bearish ones or something like that. Honestly, I think this one should show. I'll have to look into it. I don't know why this one's not showing, but this one's showing instead. So we'll look into that. But, you know, this is the high now. Here, I'll even show it like this. So you can see at this time, right, there's nothing here. And then price starts going sideways. So now you know there's an ICI here. That's really it. It's just showing you the point that I would buy stop. It's just a swing. That's all it is. It's very simply a swing. Just a high, right? A lot of people oftentimes don't wait for just a normal high to be created and just start to funnel into a trade. And that's okay because some of you might CS your entries, but that's all it is. It's just, right? And then you buy stop the high. And then the other one is, the other simple update is, so I'm going to get rid of that now, is just to extend the MAs if you want to. So this is like, it's a weird measuring tool that I created. But very simply, when you press extend, it'll try to imagine that the next candle has expanded through the tops. So it'll show you where the MAs could be if it expands. The reason I made this is because, you know, sometimes a lot of you might have rules, especially in your testing, that show that the MA touches a candle or something, right? And this will allow you to see that if there is an expansion, has the MA touched a given candle? And the answer would be yes in this case. I don't use this, but people were asking for it, so I just added it, right? And then you have your extension. And it's cool. But I don't personally use these, but people were asking, and I had it showcased in one webinar one time because I had an example of it being used. So there you go. So that's available now as well. There's nothing really crazy on it though. Yeah, everyone's slightly late. All good, man. John says, do you still avoid parallel MAs on your entry time frame? I saw some potential 1-minute setups on gold, but skip them due to weird MAs. Thoughts? Just depends on the move. It depends on the move, man. Completely depends. Future accumulation. Like I would have probably easily taken this one. But then I would have taken break even on this. I don't think it's a -1 for me. And then you get a slow reset. Yeah, and I would definitely have taken this one. I need to see the 200 as well. But, oh, this is 20 and 50. I need a 10 and a 50. But the 50 looks good. So the 10's probably like this, which means I would take this. Also take a break even on it. So this would not be a win for me. And then I would also take this. And this would be the win for me. That looks like it delivers. Give a look on Coco. We'll look at a few markets in a second. I'll ask you guys about it. I want to get through a few questions here and talk about one kind of psychological, technical thing that I saw kind of occur this week, especially with my own trading. But after that, we will. Yeah. G says, I don't know if it's just me, but the ICI color change doesn't work on the indicator. It doesn't. I need to fix it. One big community will help each other. Yes. Got wicked out of gold. A sad day. It's all right, man. If you get wicked out and that's the worst thing that happened for you in a week, you are literally set to be a consistent and profitable trader, right? Because at the same time, Alex, there were a few million traders wicked out of gold on that same trade maybe this week, okay? And you know what they did? They doubled down to the opposite side and they doubled down again and they averaged and they lost, okay? So you're in a really good boat, dude. So congratulations on getting wicked out and following those rules, okay? That's all that matters. Bitcoin seems like it's moving in my favor. Good, SJ, good. Anton, are you still doing that 5% risk as long as you're winning strategy? No. There you go. No. Oh, this is your trade, SJ. Oh, you took this on the 4-hour. Let me look at that. Oh, GBTC, right? Did you enter it on GBTC? Oh, Bitcoin, okay. So maybe it's different. Oh, okay, I see. So you entered it during the weekend. Yeah, Saturday. Okay, so I don't trade weekend, so I don't even look at it. I don't really care what it does on the weekend. But if this move is gonna hold, right? Because if this starts going long, then this thing at open will start to gap up. Then great. Because honestly, yeah. I mean, I really want to give it a little bit more time. So like, I would want to see it. If it does gap up, it'd be great. And then maybe a pause, and then I'll buy stop this thing. That'll be like perfection. That's like what I want to see right now on this, really badly. Or even it just starts moving higher, pauses, and then I can take the long. Or even moves higher, pauses right before this high, and then I can take the long. Right, this will be perfect. But yeah, I mean, if you entered this through like a crypto exchange or whatever, yeah, you could be in a nice runner for sure. I mean, I would already break even on this personally, because it's already made a clear enough move to be broken even. So like now it can either take off or come down and then find a new setup or lose itself, right? So this is the way like I think about price. And you have the occasional, right? Like if you're allowing this, then yeah, you can be in this at a better price. But for me personally, I like to scrap the trade if it's not insta moving, really. Yeah. But yeah, dude, congratulations. It's a good trade. I just don't trade on weekends, so I didn't look at it at all. Mr. says, I'm using a 50 and a 200 in my testing for directional bias and chop, and it's going very well so far. Yeah, I mean, same here. I literally, like I spoke about this last week with you guys in the webinar, right? They are great for orienting yourself, right? Like all of my trades, I'm actually going to show you guys this right now. So I entered this trade on a 4-hour, okay? Can anyone notice anything about the MAs in regards to when I entered the trade and where they were? Just very quickly. So that would be for this specific trade right here. So when I entered this, what was the stacking of the moving averages, right? Yep, the 200's going up, the 50's going up, the 10 is either just at price or going up, okay? Now let's look at trades that I took this week, just very quickly. So I took a trade on a 5-minute right here. Does anyone notice anything interesting about the timing of when I took the trade in regards to the MAs? What are they doing? The 200's moving up, the 50's moving up, the 10 is at price or moving up. Okay, let's see the next trade I took. I took this trade. Does anyone see anything interesting that might be similar to those prior trades? The 200's moving up, the 50's moving up, the 10 is just at price or moving up. Okay. Then we took another trade. Where was it? Because I took break evens, but that's fine. Let's find them. Okay. I took this trade. Actually, this one's a little bit different, tiny bit. But 200 moving up, 10 is moving up, and price is at it, and the 50 is just starting to slope upwards, which is perfect for me. Okay, next trade. What do you see? 200 moving up, the 50 is moving up, the 10 is at price or moving up. Took another break even. What do you see? Price is moving up, right? 200 is moving up, 50 is moving up. The 10 is at price or moving up. Okay. Okay, I think that was the week, right? Yeah. Okay. Oil. Let's find the winning trade, because we really care about the winning trades. What do you see? 200 is moving up or just started moving up. 50 is moving up. Price is at the 10 or at the 10 and moving up. 200 going up, 50 going up, 10 is at price or moving up. 200 going up, 50 moving up, 10 is at price or moving up. Up, almost up, or actually is up, and then 10 just started moving up as well. But honestly, looking back, I think no, actually this was 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Yeah, I probably should not have traded this one. I got lucky that it was a break even, is all I gotta say. Same thing here for this trade. 200 up, 50 just started moving up, 10's moving up. The chat is right here on the right hand side of my screen, but you can't see it because Zoom is terrible. Their company sucks. Okay? I hate this company. I fucking hate this company. They actually suck. I don't know how. Yeah, they fucking deserve it. Okay? Somebody make a better Zoom, please. Alright, back to analysis. Can't you do webinars over Discord, though? They have, like, limitations of people and stuff. Okay. I missed these trades, so that sucked. But if I didn't miss them, let's say I took them, either one, does anyone notice anything interesting about these trades on UJ if I took them in regards to everything we just spoke about? 200's moving up, 50's moving up, the 10 is at price moving up. Okay, so again, like, it might seem from afar that the stuff that I'm doing is absolutely out of this world, like insane. Which I get, especially if you're new. But I hope a lot of you are seeing that all I've done with time is I've very, very, very simply refined to relatively simple rules what kind of trades I'll take based on what the price is doing. And then I have, on top of that, context, okay? That's it. iPhone says, can you trade stocks in men funding? No, sir. Not anymore. Sadly. Not anymore. But honestly, like, I would just go with an actual stockbroker, because any stocks through like FX brokerage are just shit, because it's like CFDs, which are illiquid, sometimes priced irregularly or improperly. I'm not even sure how it even works, honestly. Like, I'm that dumb when it comes to the trading space. I don't even know how it works. Okay, I think they're just like created markets. So of course they're much more illiquid because it's not the actual exchange. But if you want to trade stocks, do so with an actual brokerage, like a stockbroker, okay? So one of the ones that specialize in connecting to the actual market, right? So like if I'm trading Apple, I want to be on a broker that has the actual NASDAQ symbol available, like the actual NASDAQ, not the, let's go to, how do I do this? How can I specify, let me just scroll down. It's not even here. You can't even find it. Okay, I'm not even gonna do it. But there's some brokers that offer it as like a CFD and it's not even the actual market. So let's keep going. Jimmy says, good management can keep you from taking huge profits, but will never take money from you. Exactly. And that rounds out almost the entire trading space, right? Because when we get involved in this space, the only thing we're after initially, and I was too, and you guys probably were as well, or some of you that are new might even still be here, is after the huge moves and being in at the beginning of the huge move and at the end of the huge move. And if you're not able to do that, you believe inherently there is something fucking wrong with you, right? And I've seen this happen because I was the same way. I was like, you know, if a market's moving without me, I'm like, how did I not enter here? And even if it's moving without me and I enter here, I'm like, and then it goes and I exit here, and then it does this, I'm like, how did I not exit here? What the fuck am I doing? I'm terrible, right? And I think it's kind of one of the largest things that, you know, that forms FOMO for a lot of people, right? Because if you manage and you make money, you're still sad if it keeps going. And if you get in, but the price has already moved, you're sad that you didn't make as much money. And if you get in above price and then it stops you out, you believe that not only could you have made money if you got in lower, but you hate yourself for getting in at a bad price now, and you want to change systems. So those three things put together create like a monster of a human being that starts to do all the bad things, you know, doubling up, spending infinite money on challenges, just averaging down, finding systems that force you to kind of martingale. And those people lose forever, right? But it's funny, like Jimmy says here, that once you actually have a solid system and good management, you know, like rarely will I have a trade that's perfect to the top and the bottom, right? Look at this move. Actually, let's even zoom out. Look at this move. This was the move. That was the move, okay? This is where I made my money. And every other trade was a break even, so it didn't run. That's how much I need to take out of the market to make more money than 99% of people, 95% of people in this industry, right? 8 now, whatever the number is. And there's others that are sad that they haven't entered here and gotten out here. Or will be sad if they got out just now and then it does this, right? So this is where I made my money, right? Let's look at crypto. Let's look at crypto. That is where I made my money. And it's more RR than a lot of us have seen, even for some of you in your entire trading journeys in regards to what you've actually been able to pull out of the market, right? And that was off of a move that large. Okay, let's look at gold. Oh my God, you can't even make this up. Okay, so this is when we started watching it. This is where I made my money. Okay, so I hope you're seeing why, like, this idea of FOMO or whatever it is that people are getting hurt by recently does not affect me. Because I know it takes this much for me to have my edge, money, equity realized, right? And if you really want to get crazy about it, if you really want to get crazy, right? Because there are people that will try to predict the low to the top and be sad because they didn't get in here and didn't get out here, right? The real money I pulled out of this, if we add them all up, right, of all the money that I made on this, which was, I think, you know, a little bit here, a little bit here, which was this week. I don't remember if I traded this or not. But if you, like, even if we give this a benefit of the doubt and increase it, right, the question I want to ask you now, even if you're a beginner, is, do you think with proper work and a good amount of time, you can find a way, just through learning here, to take out this amount of a move out of a move like this? Do you think you can get to that point? And if the answer is yes, then you're already in a better spot than most traders are when they start and then stay stuck for 2 years. I hope a lot of you realize that. If you can look at this and say, hey, honestly, if trading really is taking around this much out of a move that's clear, I think I could do this. If that's the thought you're having right now, I just want you to know that you're ahead of, not behind, not at the same level of, but ahead of most people that have spent 2 years plus stuck because they've been jumping courses, jumping people, jumping concepts, jumping the data collection elements of doing things the whole time. If you can allow that realization to sit with yourself just for a second, you are in for a treat. Let's put it that way. You are in for such a good time in this market, right? I really want you to know, like, similarly, do you think some of the higher time frame based traders of the world, when they're trading, do you think they're making money on a trade, like Apple, let's say, here? Or do you think they're in it for a few years, for when they enter well, and then they get out, and again, where's their money made? Right? Now, if you're Warren Buffett, this is you, okay? Listen, if you're the person that is truly committed to the fundamentals, right, where you've actually done research unbeknownst to the world, and you're willing to hold for 15, 30, 40 years, and you're willing to hold through everything that happens, then you can operate with a system like this. Does everyone understand that? This is actually possible, but there's specifics around what you want to be doing to do this, okay? I'm not interested in that, okay? I'm interested in waiting for the move, okay? I'm interested in then taking my long through the ICI. I'm interested in entering the long. I'm then interested in protecting my downside with a simple stop. I'm then interested in moving to break even relatively early with strength. I'm then interested in trailing until I get stopped out of my first position, which might be here or higher based on, you know, how I've been doing or how the move is going. So let's just say it's plus 1.1. I'm then interested in trailing with a double MB rule all the way until I get stopped out, which still would be at this low. So I'd be still in this trade right here. There we go. That's it. Okay. And again, if we had looked at it from a standpoint of if I entered here on the monthly, the reality of this move is I've made my money so far in that amount of space. And again, I pose the question to you, especially the guys that are new today, and you don't have to answer this, just kind of think about it. If you believe for even a fraction of a second that you're capable of learning a system that can take out at least this much or more out of a move that is this clear. And by the way, remember, this wasn't traded here. This was traded here, which means that if you, as a beginner, think that when a market has already proven that it can do this, if you believe that after that, you can take out this amount of a move out of then an overall this large move, you're ahead of close to almost every other person in the entire industry. I hope you understand that, right? And again, remember, we're not talking about taking a move out of the market this big at its beginning where you predict the low. I'm talking about the market has proven where it wants to go, and then you entered. And that's what you took out to secure whatever it is that you wanted. And just to put this in relative terms of money, if this is a monthly chart, guys, which it is, how much money could you realistically put up as risk, okay, as risk, with the largest size account you could possibly have on around this much, on this large of a stop? When on average, Apple trades, just so you guys understand this, around $200 billion a day it trades, okay? If you had a position, so let's say you don't want to move the market too much. So 200, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 200 billion. You would have to be probably trading with about maybe 3% max of what's traded in the day. So you could put up whatever this number is, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6 billion. So you could put up a $6 billion position, okay, on this trade. Are you upset with the fact that this is how much you have to take out of the market, given that that was, let's say, the account size you were able to operate with? It's clear as day, okay? The answer is no. Normal Monday morning, yeah, exactly. Okay, so all of a sudden, you should start to realize that you're actually not limited in any way to make fortunes. Okay, now again, this is not me telling you you're going to make fortunes at all. It's actually me telling you that the likelihood is actually much less so, right? But you should see the availability that's there, even with a trade like this one. That might look like it's a small stop, I'm not gonna make any money, okay? $6 billion, $6 billion position does not be a $6 billion earning. A $6 billion position, and then let's say it then moved, you know, let's just say even 1RR. So 1RR was about 27%. So on this trade, if it just stopped out right there, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you would have made 27% on that amount. So you would have made 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, $1,620,000,000. And that's if you just took off your entire position after that first partial, which actually would have been 2.2RR. But now it's at 303%, which would be 150%. So the other partial, if you just held this with the MB rules, Warren Buffett, you should be listening. If you held this with the double MB rule, your same 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, $6 billion position, okay, would have made just an extra 1.5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You would have made an extra $9 billion. So, again, if any of you believe in any way that you're able to, after a market has proven itself, take out this amount out of an actual move, then you're already ahead of most people, and you have what it takes to be profitable. You just now need to define the system, trade the system, collect data on the system, gain confidence with the system, and then execute it. And manage your trades without caring about the FOMO and the losses. Because now you understand, you know, how to think in regards to what can a move become. Okay? Oh my god, Google just had a perfect setup. It's actually happening like right now. So like if you're the Warren Buffett of the world, this is where you're in the trade. Or not even Warren, but like a version of Warren, okay? This is where you're in. Probably stop under this low or something. And now, hopefully after another month, one more month of up candle movement, you move to break even. That's it, right? Because this is actually pretty clear. Yeah. I mean, this is really clean, right? This is actually the first time Google has had this kind of pause, right? Where you're looking at a potential new stage 2 that could actually reach higher, right? And then potentially even reach higher. Android Warren is in this. Right, but this is like one of those stocks. Like if someone came to me and said, Anton, what do you think about the monthly of Google, to enter it? I'd be like, okay, this is actually a very clean setup. You know, I check my 6 month, which is just coming off of the 10, which is perfect. And then I check my higher time frame, which I think would be like a yearly, right? Would it be a yearly? Like 30 month or 60 month, which is what, 3 years, right? I can't do that. Whatever, we'll go 1 year. Right, which is, I mean, there's nothing to do. It's just bullish. So there's nothing to do here. You just know that you can trade it, right? So that's why you would just execute with the rules, right? Overall accumulation, everything's in accumulation, perfect reaccumulation, beautiful flush out. Let's take the trade, right? That's it. Same thing goes with the US 100s of the world, the NASDAQs, all of that, right? We've been watching this forever. What's it? DJI, Dow Jones, it just has more data. I mean, like, it's the exact same thing on repeat, right? Price is choppy and not good. It goes into accumulation. It starts to come down but never sets up. Goes into reaccumulation but very ugly. Could be absorption, could be distribution. We have no idea. Comes up, comes down, it's just chopping. Then it breaks higher. That could be redistribution. So we probably ignore it, but we keep in mind that overall, institutionally, this is likely to be accumulation. So we might even ignore these trades. Starts going, breaking, 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 breaking. Now it's accumulation. Breaks down for reaccumulation, pauses. These are your initial opportunities on a 1 month on DJI, right? Or even through this MB high. You sail that higher, reaccumulation, you have it happen again. You sail that higher, reaccumulation, you have it happen again. You sail that higher, reaccumulation, you have it happen again. Then you finally get chopped out and take a loss. Then it comes up. You have it happen again. You take a break even or a loss. It reaccumulates, but now it's back and forth. Distribution. Breaks higher, accumulation. Comes down. It's chopping, 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 takes off. It's in clear accumulation. Small pause, trade, trade, trade. You run this higher, reaccumulation, even though it doesn't break down, it's clear flush out and reaccumulation. Break, break, buy twice. Reaccumulation. Buy, buy. Goes, goes, goes. Goes, 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 goes. Reaccumulation. Buy, buy. Reaccumulation. Buy, buy, buy. Mini reaccumulation. Might ignore it. Reaccumulation. Buy. Reaccumulation. Buy, buy. And look where we are now. Okay? If you just traded a very simple ICI or buy stop the MBs as they occur with the reaccumulations or the flush outs in the market on DJI, you would have outperformed the market in general, right? Or outperformed it in regards to drawdown. Of course, if you bought 100% of your entire account here and just held it, you would of course make more money because you have your entire account at risk, right? But guess what, guys? If this is the next move on this in the next 50 years, would you care as a trader that does this? Would you care? If this is the next move on this over the next 50 years, you wouldn't. Now, if you're someone that is the buy and hold, is this going to bother you? Big time. It's gonna suck. You're gonna have your money locked up for 50 plus years. Now, what's interesting, and this is not to scare anybody, but this is what's interesting to me, is that we haven't had a long-term accumulation or distribution on this thing since the beginning of time. This is the closest right here. This is the closest we got to a potential distribution that could have started a long-term distribution. It didn't happen yet. This is the closest right here we got to potentially starting a distribution. It didn't happen. If this begins to break down, pauses, breaks down, gets under the 200, you're talking about a potential first time distribution that could lock people's money up for 50 years or more. That's how it happens. And of course, right now, no one's gonna care, right? Because everyone's happy with the performance of the market. Of course. But what I wanna show you is why there are advantages and disadvantages, as always, to any kind of trading. This is always gonna feel good as a buy and hold when it's doing its thing. But similarly, when it's not doing its thing, if a normal correction happens, and this guy said World War III, yeah, it could be, I hope not, of course, but it could be anything. It could just be mass inflation. It could be mass inflation across multiple nations. It could be new trade laws between nations. It could be AI taking over and there's just no company can produce anything and the DJI doesn't include it, or whatever it might be. I don't know. I don't care. It could even just be the fact that too many people think that it's overvalued and start shorting it without any fundamentals. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is. The point is, if, and for some reason, I don't want to scare anyone if you guys have money in your accounts, because again, I don't predict things. I have no idea what it can do. It could go to 900, it could go to 1 million before it ever even does this. Remember that. It could go up here before it does that. Okay? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I want to open your eyes to the fact that as traders, what's beautiful about what we do is we protect downside always, right? So our drawdowns are always going to be lower than anyone that buys and holds. And at the same time, we have the availability of capital to put it to work anywhere we want, right? So we can put our money to work in any stock, any market, any crypto, any bank, any nation, any country, right? If a new country spawns tomorrow, someone says, I declare this the country of Nabada, or whatever the name of the country is, and they make a currency, and they only allow 100 people to live there, and they're all billionaires. So the billionaires of the world, there's like maybe 1,000, I don't know how many there are, demand this token, so they're all paying for it, and we start seeing a crazy rise on this new currency. We can trade it with no issue, right? This is the beautiful thing about being a trader that has availability of capital, right? We have the ability to put our capital to work how we see fit. Which means that for me personally, right, I can get in at all of these markets however I feel like, and I can pull out a portion of my capital and earnings and put it elsewhere into a new market like real estate, which is why you guys have heard me talk about the fact that I invested and bought my own real estate, because even though it produces a much lower return than what I make in trading, because I can't predict the market or what the market's going to look like, I can just do the day-to-day of what, or not day-to-day, but like if I'm on a monthly chart, I can do the month-to-month. Right now, if I'm looking at DJI, this thing wants to go higher. Nothing's stopping it, right? It might pause a little bit and then it continues going higher. That's it. I can trade that now. That's great, right? But I'm not a predictor of the markets. So I want to put my capital to work in clear context and then invest some in areas that I believe in. And my belief in something that is going to be fine for a long term is like real estate, which is why I put my money into real estate and buy my own stuff and buy my own like properties, right? That's why I do that. Because that's just where my belief as a fundamental person lies, right? But yeah, context is king. That's exactly correct. All right, there's nothing stopping this thing from doing this. And if it did, the people that are holding this for their entire lives will see a 80% reduction in what they put in it. So that means that, just so you guys understand that, if anyone invested this since 1990, okay, and put in, since 1993, let's say, and put in their retirement, right, $1 million. Okay, they're up huge right now. Okay, $1 million. They're up to like an insane amount, actually, like an absolute insane amount, like 10 mil or something, right? Even more, maybe. But they're gonna be at around, I'm not doing the math. A lot less is all you have to understand, okay? Because the drawdowns in buy and hold is always long term. Which is fine, because if you're willing to try to take out this much of a move, you have to be willing to go through what? The drawdowns within that move. However long that might be. You have to be able, like, that's what trying to predict the tops and bottoms are. So what's funny is, and this is why traders fail, is if you're not gonna hold for the entirety of it, and at the same time, you're always trying to predict the top and the bottom, what does that mean for you as a trader? That's when two things intersect, right? They're contradicting each other. I want to be in at the bottom and out at the top, but I also don't want to be in a drawdown. Oh, good luck, buddy. And that's where a lot of, just so you guys understand, a lot of beginners and intermediate people even in the trading space, and by intermediate, I mean people that have spent more than 2 years learning, but haven't gotten anywhere. This is where they find themselves. They want in at the bottom or out at the top, but they also don't want to feel the losses along the way. So they're always predicting tops and bottoms, and they're always exiting, which means you're never on the right side of price, even if you have it right for short term, which is exactly why we all see the same issue of, I always get my direction correct, but I'm always taken out of the trade. The problem is that they're not actually getting the direction correct. They're actually constantly and always correct about direction. That's what's so weird about, let's say, the dumb money, is that whether they're long or short, they're actually always correct. They're always correct. That's the thing. But every time they lose the mass proportion of their wealth, they go, listen, I'm just always wrong. I get in at the wrong spot, but I'm always right. This is why, right? Whether you're bullish or bearish now, it doesn't matter. Because the second you enter randomly, and then you hold randomly, and you manage randomly, and then you lose guaranteed over time, well, you know, it's... Why is my computer shutting down? Are you kidding me? Alright, whatever. I had my... No, that video's not gone. I had my face cam being recorded on the other computer, but it just died for no reason. So that was really cool of that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't care. Okay. So there's one thing I wanted to bring up this week, specifically, that I'm going to do right now. Okay. I'm going to move this over. So again, just recorded a few things this week for what had happened throughout the week. Passing while not trading. Yeah, so this was actually in line with exactly what happened this week. One thing I brought a lot of your attention to this week, specifically, was the idea that you to be profitable just need to take out this amount of the market. Does everyone understand that to start with, right? Okay, cool. So we got over that. So now if we look at a lot of the trades that I took this week, right? That's exactly what it, or even the ones that I've taken, that's exactly what happens, right? You have a large move, I get into the trade, and then, well, now I'm still in it. So let's actually go to another example. Let's go to gold here. Okay, this is a phenomenal example. Most of the move begins to happen. I'm not in any of it. I actually miss trades. Then I get into a move, and I make money out of it, but then it goes on for another 10,000%, okay? Similarly, I try to get in again, and all of them make small runners, but never result in the actual runner. I get a break even, and then it runs. Oil has been a great example of this all week. I get nothing, then I get a trade, okay? I get a trade right here. And then I miss out on all of this. And then not only that, but I take 1, 2, 3, 4 break evens, then nothing, and it delivers without me, okay? This goes hand in hand with exactly what I just spoke about, with the fact that, listen, like, I am going to miss out on a lot of the upside, okay, and the initial bottom side to the upside, and if we flip it, it's the same thing, right? I miss out on a lot of the downside, but again, we're just talking about it in a bullish sense right now, right? I miss out on a lot of it because of my rules, right? But the act of not trading during certain moments or certain times is actually the thing that's making me very profitable. And similarly, this is an example that we saw this week, right? Tabo says today he passed his first huge phase 1, right? So he made the 20K profit target. His max loss was minor, right? Very beautiful to see. And he only traded for 3 days. But he started the challenge 3 weeks ago, which means that there have been an active 21 days or so, or actually 30 days, right? Basically a month of action, and he traded 3 days out of them. He said, I know we don't usually show numbers here, but I want to show you guys this because, you know, I never write in chat. But this goes hand in hand with exactly what happened to me this week, which is that the trader is profitable not because he traded, but he's actually profitable because he showed up every day without trading. He looked at a lot of these markets that moved without him, that were doing weird things, that were doing clean things, and skipped them until something was clear. And when he traded it, he made money for it. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. 2, another follow-up on the above. It always comes down to the same thing, right? We're not here to force a trade just because we're looking at a market. So anytime I show up to look at a market, and I kind of wrote it here, is you're actually looking for reasons not to trade something. That's how I want you guys to start thinking. When there are less reasons not to trade it, that's when you consider trading it. So it's almost like it's a weird backwards thing where a lot of people are like, oh, fuck oil. I don't like the MAs, but it's kind of making isosceles and it's kind of being bought at this like nice zone. Oh my God, fuck it. I could buy stop here, but no, I'm taking it here right now. I don't care, right? So a lot of traders will look at something and look for any reason to take it. I want you to change that entirely. I want you to look at a market and go, what are all the reasons I shouldn't trade this? What are all the reasons? And when there's less reasons, that's when you consider it. So for instance, if you said, Anton, look at Carvana for me. Okay, sure, let me look at it for you. Let's say I trade a 4-hour chart. Here I go. So what do I not like about it? Okay, it's in accumulation, that's good. What do I not like about it? Honestly, I think the daily actually looks pretty good. There's nothing I can see here that I hate about it. Sure, let me verify it on a weekly. Okay, what do I not like about it? I don't like that it's in a redistribution on the weekly. I don't like that it's in a redistribution with the 200 MA just pointing down while the 10 and 50 are kind of far away from price and below the 200. I don't like the fact that institutionally it looks like it could be bullish, but the institutional low took out the very, very low of the very beginning of price, which shows that it could be in chop. I don't like the fact that price isn't even sailing the 10 yet, okay? I don't like the fact that it didn't take more time to make this an accumulation. So now, with all the things I don't like, does it make sense for me to kind of watch it? The answer becomes no. And all of a sudden, I don't even have to force things on this at this given moment. Right? Now let's say I'm trading a lower time frame. So the daily, it's good accumulation. Let me look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour. Is there anything I hate about this? Well, at first glance, I don't like the fact that there's kind of a few ranges being created here, but they are being created in a clear way. So that's good. It's not something I hate. It had a beautiful prior institutional range. I have nothing against that. And at the moment, it's sailing above a rising 200. The one thing I don't like is a little bit of a downwards moving 50. But other than that, it's actually pretty clear. So if a lower time frame can be setting up, I have no reason that I can't take this. Let me look at a lower. Okay, what do I not like? I don't like that we're under the lower moving 250 and 10 while it's being a little bit choppy there. So what does that mean? If it starts moving up, I'll be happy, right? So it's almost like a backwards way of thinking, but when you look at a market, you should be thinking in some sense, well, I look for stuff that's clear now, so I know what I'm looking for. But in the beginning, you know, it should be like, what do I not like? If you look at something and something goes off in your head like, that's already a telltale sign that something might not be as clear as what you've already seen before. And that's an important thing to remember, right? Because trading isn't about being there to force a trade. Trading is literally about you saying, I am staying the fuck away from this in every way, right? This computer sucks. This computer fucking sucks. Nice. How can someone with a prop firm have access to most broader markets? You trade the markets that you have available with the prop, or you get your own account. I remember you showing this, yeah. The lean hogs. The hogs of the world. Yeah, and this is really clear too. Beautiful institutional movement, right? Beautiful accumulation here. So blueprint, blueprint, blueprint. Moves higher, clearly. Sets up. I don't like the fact that you bought here. That was really weird. Oh, I think you maybe buy stopped that. That's okay. But if you buy stopped this right there, I would have loved it. If you buy stopped, or sorry, this is a sell, right? Oh no, it's a buy. Okay. So yeah, if you buy stopped here, I would love it, right? It would be perfect. Stop like here and take this higher. You might have even gotten better RR out of it, and now you're just managing. So that's really, really good. Yeah, congrats on this trade, man. Good job. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. So this goes hand in hand with this idea of you're actually making money by being on the sidelines. You're not actually making money sitting there and trading. So similarly to the guy above that was like, that passed his funded evaluation in like 3 days out of 30 of not trading. The reason he did that is because the act of not trading allowed him to, let's say, save money through all the losses and break-evens he would have taken in a shittier market condition. A lot of people don't realize that there only are a few moments that should be traded, right? There's a lot of people that would force longs in all of this, right? And lose money. Force longs in all of this and lose money, and then take a long here and then make money. But if you could forego any of this nonsense and then trade here or here, you only seem to make money or lose very little. This is always the idea of protect your downside in a huge way and look to excel on the upside when it's time with the occasional loss and break even that's going to come with the good, right? So if you just trade good context, then you're going to do a lot better for yourself. Follow the context. You can't predict when something is fine. Treat it as any abnormal move. What happened here? So we did have a little bit of news. And as always, people want to try to predict when the news is going to be clean again or after. But I kind of wrote it here. It's, you know, someone said, give news 15 minutes to settle down and then back to looking. What do you say? This is not how markets work, really, right? All I said is it can be anywhere from 1 second after news to be clean, or it can be months or years even in some cases. The point is, right, when a move like this happens, you don't know if it's not going to go sideways for 50 years, if it's going to just chop around now, or if it's going to continue on a clear move. If this comes down and then starts building up a clear move, you can take it. If it doesn't, then you don't have to touch it. You shouldn't be sitting there trying to predict how market's going to look after the news or how clean it's going to be after the red news. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that, is the context there? Is the market moving clearly? That's it, right? Let's say this was a news event. Boom. And then it goes sideways for 50 years. Well, I don't care about any of that until it's moving higher and making good setups. Here's news again. Boom. If it does this right here, I won't touch it. If it instead does this right here, I'll trade it. Very simply, you do not need to get attached to any of the news or anything that's happening. Instead, get attached to the actual context. Trade the fucking context. This is also important. Missed most of the move, but made more money than the person that predicted it all. Yep. So again, same thing where if, I missed most of the move, but I very likely made more money on just the moves that I took than the person that tried to predict the entire move. And the reason for that is because the person that predicts the entire move, one, is already screwed anyway, but even if he's not, is taking a trade like this. Probably. And is still in the trade, trying to catch a top. Okay? So even at his best, he might pull out 2 RR out of this. At the moment, he's probably pulled 1.3. At his best. Me has just taken setup with a defined risk and taken more out of one single move within that large move than he would have ever taken. Okay? So that's what happens when you learn to wait and learn to allow price to set up your given move while also being okay with missing the move. It's perfectly fine. There are going to be thousands of setups, okay? Thousands. Absolutely thousands. I can't believe my PC fucking died, dude. That's so sad. Because I was recording the webcam on the other one, but now it's just gone. Oh, whatever. It's fine. Context versus market is classic. Yeah. So I had somebody asked, and Karar provided a perfect example and an answer. Someone asked again about, like, should I be testing the market to understand that the market's profitable? And again, Karar says this doesn't matter, right? You don't need to trade the pairs you tested because the system that you use will work across everything, right? And he said, I can assure you, MentaFX has not done extensive testing on GBTC to trade it. That's right, guys. Just so you know, I never looked at GBTC in my life. But rather, I've done extensive testing using my system, and then I traded this given market when my rules were met. Half of the stocks I've traded, I've never touched, right? And I can touch them when my rules are met. And he said, this is a perfect example. What the fuck is this? Stock doesn't matter. And that's exactly true. This comes back to the fact that we trade context, not markets. I don't care what market I'm trading. This was the first time I ever in my life traded soybeans this week. And I made some money on it, right? I've never touched soybeans in my life. Okay? I've never even tested my system on the soybeans market. I just know it's going to follow the same principles that make me money no matter what. That's it. That's all I know to be the case. Okay? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. Okay. I think it's back. Sell's low-key hard to spot for me. It's because it wasn't on the 1 hour, dude. Hold on. Here you go. I sell stop that. Okay. Of course, on the hourly, it's going to be hard to spot. But on this one, it was a lot clearer. Okay. Because I didn't enter it on the hourly, so it's gonna, of course it's gonna look super weird. Okay. Here we go. I should be back on your screens now, okay? There you go. Have we already discussed the indicator update? Yep, somebody asked about it. I think it was you. I'm gonna go back up now and look over some more stuff, but that's one of the things I really wanted to bring up this week, was just understanding that you're not here to be in for that entire move. It really does not matter for you to be in that move. You're just here to take out your edge. Like, look, I missed this entire end of day on gold. Like, could I have traded this here or here or here or here? Yes, of course. I could have traded any of these. Did I? No. Do I care now that I missed this? No. This was also a really good trade for anyone that did enter. This was a phenomenal trade right here. Just very, very end of week. Did I trade this? No, I wasn't even looking at that point. But it was clear and it was really clean and it was really good. And do I care that I missed it? No. Because again, there are thousands of opportunities a day. Like, I can't even keep track of them all. I'm building out software just to help me keep track of it. And even then I won't be able to keep track of it because there's so much opportunity. The question though, the only question is, are you willing to wait and be patient for that opportunity, or are you going to keep forcing shit when you shouldn't be, right? I'm going to scroll up a little bit here because I missed some stuff. Abed says, hey man, I've been here for 6 months. I finished the course for the first 4 months and now I'm in the testing phase. I found my system after collecting more than 500 photos. Now I test the system for 500 other trades. I'm putting in a lot of effort, but I have one concept. I did not succeed in understanding it and how to calculate it. I watched a lot of webinars and searched YouTube. How to calculate commissions, all concepts of commission loss. I want to learn it from the beginning. What should I do? I either have to put some stuff together for it, or you can just make a simulated demo account with anything and start taking trades with the proper risk, and then look at the commission payments for taking such risk. Now, regarding how to calculate lots, pips, or how much, not lots and pips, but like how much to contractually enter, I believe that's available in hashtag other course materials. I think I put a full like way to calculate it here. For this is how you actually get commissions. Yep, that's how you get commissions. And then I believe, I'm not always sure exactly where it is, but I mean, I can look through it for you. Yep. This is how you calculate how much you can actually open on a certain trade, on a market. So that's the maximum you can open. And then to calculate the actual risk, if you were to open something, you would just do the risk in dollars you want to risk over stop size. How would you do this? The stop size? Because you have to think in the contracts too. I'll have to look it up. I'll make a calculator or something on the MentFX website for you, okay? But commission-wise, you can either just take the trade and then look at the commission and then record it and as a term of RR, but yeah. Hey Anton, already collected more than 700 plus trades, started different journals, and all of them end up being profitable. I wanted to hear your thoughts on how to refine your system properly. Thing is, still have some doubts before taking to fund the challenge. Nonetheless, again, the system shows profitability. So trade it. What do you mean, how do you refine the system? You refine the system by spotting things that can improve it, right? Management systems, criteria of entry, different tools like Screener, some models or MAs in their look for potentially staying out of more losses and being in bigger wins if that's something you're after. Otherwise, go and trade the system, right? If the system makes money, trade the system. Make your money. It's the best thing you can do. Yeah. Forgot where it was. Somebody had a beautiful ICI backtest too, but I lost it. Unlucky. Unlucky. When Warren Buffett dies and Anton's going to take the spot. You're funny. I keep hearing NSYNC every time you say bye, bye, bye. Nice. Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything that starts a big down move on like the US 100s of the world, but we don't know. We have no idea. The government heard me spilling sauce. Nice. Dan says, but you still churned up every day as you don't know the day the actual trades will happen. Yep. I have no idea when my trades are going to be. I could, for all I know, every day that I show up in this upcoming week, there's not going to be a single trade. For all I also know, there could be a trade every day. For all I know, I could be taking a loss every day the next week. For all I know, I could get a 50 RR runner, 20 RR runner out of nowhere for no reason. I can't predict that for you. All I can do is follow a few simple rules and follow markets. Silver was another one this week with moves I missed per rules. Yeah, silver actually got a little bit cleaner. You know, we've been talking about this a little bit, and I said I want to see it come out of this nonsense, and it did. It actually did it finally. And then around here, I said you could get some moves, and it actually provided those exact moves. This is like the exact drawing we had. Here, I'm going to show it right here. right? We had this exact drawing right here from last week to start this stage 2, and that's exactly what happened. So anybody that followed this thing from like around here, actually in a decent spot, right? Off those lower time frames, like 30-minute, 5-minute. Yeah, this was phenomenal. And then next week, it's actually panning out beautifully now. That's why you can see it's on my list now. I'm going to be looking to watch this for longs, for sure, right? Like all week, look at this. Anyone that's been trading this thing has probably gotten some beautiful moves off of this. Then went through longer term chop and started a new accumulation. So even though it says redistribution, remember, institutionally it's moving higher. So this thing wants to go, go, go. And, you know, if it wasn't end of the week, there was an opportunity to enter here. It actually looks like gold right here. But now, because it is the end of the week, hopefully, start of the week, we can either get, you know, a move into chop into then a new move, or even better, chop, come down, and then a move like this. And then I'll be in this thing because, well, now it's clean, right? The exact thing that we spoke about a few weeks ago where we said we need to get out of this nonsense or I'm not touching it has happened. And at the same time, when we then spoke about it again, I said we want to see this stage 2 start this week that we could trade. And now we're in another stage 2 to keep moving higher. And that's exactly what I'm going to be looking to trade this week to hopefully get a continuation on this thing. So yeah, silver is actually perfect, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. But notice how my ability to wait kept me out of all the nonsense prior to this cleanliness. A lot of people were trading all the nonsense in here until now, where they might be even making money, right? But I got to skip the losses that would have been potentially taken just by simply sticking out and waiting for it to come away from whatever this nonsense was. Mahmood says, Anton, can you go over how you manage trades and when you go to break even? Because in the get funded video taking 1 minute trades, remember you allow for price to breathe, not allow for pullback. Now it looks more aggressive. Yeah, for that video, I just decided on a random trailing system, management system, and followed that one. That's all that happened. My actual break-even rule is basically see strength away from entry, move to break-even. That's it. There's no specific as to RR or anything like that. If you want an RR specific, which I've gone over multiple times in the course, at 1 to 3, you can always break even, is the way you can think about it. Okay, that's the easy way. But oftentimes, if I see strength, I'll just break even. So for instance, if on the 4 hour, if I entered this trade, okay, I'm breaking even on this trade at the completion of likely this candle or this candle. Other than that, there's no reason not to, right? You could even argue at this candle, but I would have given it a little bit of time, and when it does this back and forth, I would wait. If the next candle did this, I would instantly break even. Or even like this. If it just made an up candle that was like closing above, I'd break even. Again, there's no direct rule for it. I just break even into strength. That's it, okay? On Bitcoin, okay, this trade, I broke even on this candle. Same rule, right? Came up, next candle, I broke even. It was just clear to break even for me, okay? Gold. Gold, okay? I took this trade, okay? I broke even on this candle right here. Okay, that's it. It paused, boom, broke even, okay? Here, I broke even on this candle right here. It broke out. I didn't know if it was going to stop. It came down. It could have even touched my break even. I don't care. Then it went, and I broke even right there. Literally as it broke higher. Again, there's no specific rule for break evens. It's just that I know the trades that work the best for me oftentimes just run. And there's no reason for me not to expect them to run. This trade right here started its move. This was already a huge move. On this candle as it closed, I broke even. Because at that point, it either loses all of the momentum or it continues, and it continued. On this trade here, I broke even, I believe, right here, or as it crossed through the high of the next candle. There's no guarantee to the rule. It's just follow simple rule. On this one, same thing. Okay, went higher. This one paused. On the next one, as it broke higher, or even at the close of this one, I broke even. I took a break even, then, you know, it did its thing, but that's fine. And that's it. Just very simple rules for myself. But the best thing you can do is collect data and look at the data for the trades that make the biggest moves and notice things about them. Masuro, I got no news on C-Trader at the moment, bro. But pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. We're working at it. Currently beautiful ICI on the minute 1 on Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I don't trade on weekends, but for all of you crazy weekend goers, if you're trading it, then good on you. Yeah, I mean, you took this one, I think, right? It's a little harder because you're just buy stopping a down candle. This is like this is a CS. This is not an ICI. Okay, this is a CS because it never made a pause in price. Like the only ICI is this one right here. That's an ICI. This could either be a fractal MB. Okay, that's fractal MB, or just a CS. You're just CSing the candle. That's all you're doing, right? And then you have this one here, but it went too low. Like it's hard to take this. Like even if you took this, like you're putting your stop down here or you're randomizing it here, which I wouldn't do. So I'd skip that one, but that's personal preference, right? Because you would be breaking even on this candle. So again, for the guy that asked about break even, on this candle you're break even, or at the start of this one as it crosses through that high, I'd break even, right? So either way, that would be break even. If you did take it, I would not though. And again, same thing here. If someone wanted to take this, I wouldn't. But again, if you took something like this, you know, you'd be throwing your stop like what, under here or like halfway in there, and just hoping that the next candle starts off, pauses now, and then as it crosses through the high, you move to break even. So right now, if you had taken this, right, again, management rule wise, I wouldn't do anything yet. And then if the next candle starts crossing through the high, you then break even on this thing. But who knows what it wants to do. You know, I would not trade a system. I would not trade this trade personally. So like, you see this, wait for it to cross that high and you move break even if you wanted to trade that. Yeah, and you move this up a little just to account for slippage or whatever, just to be fair with your system, and then move this down a bit. But this is not a trade I would ever take. You know, if it's set up nicely here, maybe, just coming out of this beautiful little area. But yeah, this can definitely make a move. Nothing stopping it right now on the 1 minute. Right, and look at this. You get to sit out of all of this nonsense by having a few rules, right? This is like silver, but on a 1 minute of Bitcoin, right? Remember this price action here, and then look what it did. Look at how beautiful this is. So remember this price action for a second, okay? And then look at where was it? I swear there was a better chop that I was talking about. Oh, daily. Yes. Look at this. Okay? It's the exact same thing. You should be able to tell right now what this is going to do next. Okay? Like, you should, fuck me. Yeah. Like, you should literally be able to tell what both of these markets are doing next, right? I hope you're seeing this. Like, there's no difference in the way these markets deliver. It's just time frame, context, and given moment, okay? Where's my, I don't know where it is. But nonetheless, right, this circle is what price is doing right now, or did here, right? So you can imagine where silver is about to head, okay? Silver is about to head, right? I just hope you're seeing that. Like, there's nothing new or different about these markets. It's just when they're happening and on what time frames. So right now, you know, remember this Bitcoin move now, and then look at this again on the daily. You like almost clearly see that silver right now is either going to A, this, or B, which is actually more likely, reaccumulation, takeoff. And you already know it's one of the reasons that it's now on my list of markets I'm watching, because we finally made our way out of this nonsense. And this is the exact nonsense that Bitcoin just made its way out of on a 1 minute. Because it's the same move on repeat. It's all the price does, okay, is repeat itself. Congrats, Max, on that. Yep. Congrats on Masters on League, says Peace Pod. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Have to go prepare dinner. I'll see you, man. Pleasure having you on here. Have we already discussed the indicator update? Yes, we did. Nice little Sunday trade while it being in the webinar. Yeah, nice. A little bit way too early for me with too large of a discrepancy about where to put stop. But I saw someone took this one as well. This one was great. This is a phenomenal ICI right here. Beautiful. I love this one. But yeah, congrats. Keep running that up, dude. Looks really good. Looks really, really good. I took that on gold. This for me is way too high, right? Like that's way too high. Like you have, so like look at this. This was so preventable, Max. So like even if you have, like you should have this in your rule somewhere, but look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're entering on the 5th ICI with both MAs just up their asses, right? This one's late. This is like uber late. You can prevent a lot of losses with this, with just like the fact that it had so many MBs or like intermediate MBs created already. Jordan asks, Anton, do you think the fact that you went over Wyckoff back in the day so much that you see all the stages of Wyckoff without even realizing how such even think about it? I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits, and I read a section about creating habits eventually stops you even thinking about how you react to situations due to the habit created becoming a natural response. Your context is heavily based on Wyckoff, and I think new people don't realize what depth is within you simply saying accumulation, reaccumulation, and how you know when money is in. Yeah, maybe, but it's all teachable and learnable. I've seen people that go through the exact same stuff that I put out and get there without that same kind of tons of shit that I've studied. So I don't think it's a necessity at all. And again, I fine-tune my own mind to think in the realm of MAs and models, because they show the things that I've learned before in a much clearer way, so I don't have to think about the things that I've learned before. But maybe, I have no idea. You know, if you ask anyone a question about, but do you think your subconscious has any effect on anything you do that you don't know about? Well, the answer is always going to be yes, right? It should be yes, because nobody knows, right? Ment, do you actually wait for a candle close on your validation time frame? No, I don't care about candle closes. Just clean action. Oh, and there you have it. Yeah, so like right now you would break even on this thing, right? That's how simple my system would be. So like even if I traded this randomness, this is where I'm break even, and now price should take off, and if it doesn't, great, right? I just expect it to chop around or whatever it wants to do, or start a move, right? Or likely, or what I want to see, just make its move now, right? I have no reason to be in this thing if it doesn't want to now start its move, because like it's doing what it needs to do to start a move, right? There should be no pause now. Anton, how would you recommend someone branch away from 35.1? For example, Bitcoin had gorgeous 5-minute context and 1-minute setups on Thursday morning. The 30-minute was technically in distribution, with the 15-minute time frame, which closed 30, was in beautiful accumulation. Any suggestions on deciding which context or validation timeframes are most valid? Yep, look at more timeframes. As I say, there's a reason I built out the screener. I didn't build out the screener so you could look at 3 timeframes. I built out the screener so you have a general understanding about a context of a market, so that you can then use your timeframes to pinpoint an entry. I don't care if a 30-minute is showing distribution or a beautiful distribution on a market that is screaming bullishness and has been screaming bullishness for fucking, 6 months now? It just makes no sense. So yeah, the advice is use the screener as intended, use the concepts taught, look at more time frames, because again, I don't teach you to do this. I teach you to think in this way. You should know what this is as I draw it. So yeah, I don't like, if you come to me right now and say, but Anton, NASDAQ is in a clear 1 minute distribution and a 5 minute distribution, I'll say, I don't, like, what are you saying to me? I don't care. This does not matter to me, right? This is not distribution at all. I don't care if this is a 30-minute distribution. This is clear accumulation. Overall bullish market, price comes down heavily, breaks up, breaks down, breaks up, breaks down, breaks up, breaks down. Sure, that's a distribution model at that moment, but overall, even institutionally, it's starting to hold some form of bullishness and failing to distribute lower. This is clear accumulation. And again, one break makes it accumulation. So, and the 15-minute proves that. This is why we use multiple time frames, where you have pure blueprint. And now you should be watching here for a 1 minute entry. This is exactly where you look for that 1 minute entry. There should be no, like, there should be no thoughts beyond that. Like, wherever that was, I don't know where it was, but yeah, right here. Like, this is when you start watching for your 1 minute entries. Well, actually, I would wait for it to get above the 200 because that's a rule of mine, so I wouldn't take anything there. Now it's in clear accumulation. I'd actually look at a 30 now, because now I'd be looking for a clear surfer. Yeah, so something like that. 15 minute, yeah, relatively clear. 5 minute, sure, right? And now 1 minute is in clear accumulation. Yeah, see it pause a little bit now, hopefully. Now start to move higher. So now it enters distribution. And again, I don't care if it's in distribution. I'm just looking for accumulation or clear accumulation. Beautiful movement. I'm viewing this institutionally as super, super bullish. Just crossed through that top. Honestly, that's a fine long, but I'll wait for one more pause and then setup. Yeah, so I missed that long, but that's fine. Okay, good pause. And then nice setup now, hopefully. So, nope, no setup. Great. Back to distribution and weird market, and you repeat the process. And to accumulation, the higher time frame is probably still very clear, just in terms of where it's coming from. Accumulation, but under all the MAs, and I get to ignore all of this nonsense. Go back up to like a 5 maybe. Yeah, nothing to do right now in accumulation, but I'll probably wait for some clarity on this. Getting a little bit better. 30 minute is very clear. So yeah. 1 minute should set up. Let's trade around now or a little bit later. Starts in accumulation, reaccumulation, just starting to cross over these. Institutionally moving pretty long. You know, you actually have an opportunity to enter here if you wanted to, but I want to give it a second to let the 200 start sloping either sideways or a little bit further up. Maybe let the 50 catch up and go upwards, 10 as well, and then we can get an entry. So yeah, I mean, this looks good. You can take an entry like this, throw the stop down, see if we get a break even on this or not. Nope, beautiful loss. Let it happen again now. So I was like, so again, a great example of one moment that allowed for an opportunity, and then you know very quickly if you're wrong or right, and then repeat. Head back to your 15, right? Loses itself, right? You can see where I got involved in this. You can almost see firsthand what a stage 2 would look like now, and that would provide a phenomenal entry criteria. Otherwise, I got to skip all this nonsense and take a -1. But again, like, I don't care if something is in distribution or a clean distribution, right? Look through the time frames. Look at the market. What is that market telling you about what it wants to do? Alexro says, I passed 3 accounts in 2 weeks, have been patient and respect the plan. And I lose them in the same day because I trade anything and completely forget what I have to respect my plan and be patient. When I lose the last one, I just say, yeah, now it's official. Alex is a complete idiot, can take the idiot certificate. All right. Well, stop doing dumb stuff, dude. I missed that one because I took copper, which broke even. Yeah, it's a great trade. I like that. Very clean. How did this break even, though? Like, it came back to break even? Because this looks like it should have broken even, like, on this candle or this one. And then, yeah, there was no time to partial, so I guess it just came back, right? That's fine. When is the proper time to open an LLC for trading? Probably when you've made at least 30K or more in a year from trading. Then you can worry about getting an accountant, pay them a decent amount, have them look over everything, and properly do your taxes. But again, go consult, because no one here is going to give you an answer better than the people that actually do it and understand your state's laws and everything like that. Will Menfunding be adding C-Trader as a platform? Maybe. Why did you not trade the WE? I don't know what that is. Mind doing a full breakdown on some of your trades? Yeah, so let's do a breakdown on, let's do gold, because gold's been very clean and it's been something we've been watching for a while. So let's break down this trade right here and do a full breakdown of management and everything that comes with it. Yeah, let's do it. So, first things first, can anybody guess where I'm going to go and what I'm going to bring up? Before I even look at the market here. Screener. Alrighty. So here's gold. It has a few things it's trying to tell us, I would say. It's definitely trying to tell you a few things. I'm not sure what those things are, but can anyone here help me out and let me know what this thing is generally trying to tell me? Without jokes. Thank you guys. But overall, yeah, it's showing me longs. Now I'm gonna ask a crazy question to John, because this kind of came up a second ago. John, if the 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, and the hourly randomly at the start of this week went into very clean distribution, am I gonna trade shorts on it? Okay, right? What am I gonna do instead? Oh, you get that. Okay, good, perfect. Instead, I'll either A, wait for longs, or B, look at the time frames that might be associated with my main time frames to see if there's a reason that it's clear enough to follow on my entry time frame. So if the 15-minute, 30-minute are all ugly, but a 45-minute or an hourly is pointing towards clear longs, and then my validation time frame, which could be the 15, is in redistribution, but maybe it's in that kind of Bitcoin 30-minute redistribution where it's that back and forth accumulation, I'm going to go ahead and enter it on a lower time frame if it gives me an entry. Okay, so nonetheless, start of the week, and for actually months now, gold has been showing extreme bullishness. Just to even further prove that, this is where price was when I entered. Okay, so very quickly, let's do our three circle plan. I'm entering on a 5-minute generally, which means I'm looking at around a 30-minute as my validation, which means I'm looking at around a 5-hour or 4-hour as my context. So if I head over to the 5-hour, there we go. What is the general context at the time before entry? There we go. Right? We can go through every step, which is that one, we start from left to right of the actual market. We went through some kind of clear accumulation, moved higher. Institutionally, we're moving higher, right? Went through longer term blueprint or sideways market, at which point it came out of that. And this is actually, I even specified it. This is webinar 141, where I said, we're actually in a very clean area to see longs on this. This is where that happened. As it began to come up the right-hand side and broke higher, and I said, we're gonna see this pan out and then take off likely in the coming week or 2 weeks. We had that happen. Then webinar 143, you can also look at 142, 144 for further examples. We spoke about the fact that we would likely stop for a bit and then continue the move higher. Prices on the 5-hour continued to push institutionally to the long side very clearly. Nothing in any way is showing that this is not wanting to move long. Nothing in any way is not showing that this wanted to move long. Nothing in any way is not showing that this wants to move long. Everything is pointing towards institutionally, no matter how you kind of swing it, that it wants to move long. The 5 hour has found itself above a rising 200, above 50, just at or a rising 10, and at the same time is in clear accumulation by way of the models. So as the week started, we started coming out of this sideways action, and we just started going a little bit sideways. So the expectation is that the only question I ask myself is, can the 5 hours still continue and move along here? Is the question I really want to ask myself. Whoops. Oh god, dude, it's so funny. It's so good. And they'll never learn. They just never, ever, ever learn, dude. They never learn. Whatever. Either way, 5 hours pointing to the fact that it really wants to go bullish. So I'm going to look at my 30-minute now. Okay? As I head down to the 30-minute, what do we see? So again, as we go through the kind of the checklist, is institutionally this price generally showing that it wants to move long or is moving long? Before we even look at anything else, institutionally, are there generally higher highs, higher lows, not insane chop, or has moved beyond the chop if there was chop? So even if some of you thought this was choppy, which you could, it's clearly beyond that chop now. Okay, so institutionally it's there. Model-wise, are we in a clear accumulation or reaccumulation? You can actually see it on multiple time frames, but yes, right? Prices clearly moved higher, higher highs, higher lows, higher protected lows. Price broke down. It did break up, broke down, and then broke up. So overall, we have a blueprint of accumulation happening very clearly. And if you really want to do it, you can understand, so this goes to John now, that on an hourly, on a 45-minute, on a 2-hour, this is going to be a reaccumulation almost guaranteed no matter what. And you can see that, again, without even going to the other time frame. But I'm going to show that because, again, you know, why not look at it? Because when I did my studying, I looked at all time frames. But let's look at it. Here it is. The clearest reaccumulation you've ever seen. Prices move higher, reaccumulate, move higher. Everything about this is saying that it wants to take out this high and continue moving higher. It could stop. We don't know. But overall, everything is pointing to the fact that this just wants to go higher and higher and higher. So, and you can see, I never looked, just so you know, John, I didn't look at the 45-minute at all this in the last like months, okay? So this was a complete guess, but I'm used to seeing price. Again, the same is going to be true on a 50-minute, likely, right? Here you go, same reaccumulation. 1 hour might be a little bit different. Nope, 1 hour is perfect reaccumulation as well. So again, using the understanding of section 1, which is the very, very beginning of this entire course, institutionally, we can understand what models are at hand, right? Just by looking at a given time frame, and then we can actually prove that model or those time frames or the structures to ourselves by looking up or down time frames, right? 2 hour, likely the same thing. Okay, there it is. 45-minute all the way up to the 2 hour, right? We're all showing the same thing. So let me ask you a question. If you were for any reason confused by a 30-minute back and forth, and it even said it could be in distribution at that moment, do you understand how just a little bit of either institutional work or time frame work, now you know that 30-minute shows 30-minute shows a little bit of potential bearishness, but 45, 50, 55, hourly, 2 hour is all pointing towards one thing. Do you understand how that supersedes anything this might have done, especially with the context of this? Because this is context, after all, right? So yeah, everything's pointing towards bullish. Even the 30-minute though. The 30-minute entered accumulation with the fact that it broke that high. So again, even though it might have been distribution here, this break made it an accumulation. So this is now a blueprint accumulation, a 45-minute reaccumulation, a 1 hour reaccumulation, a 55-minute reaccumulation, a 2 hour reaccumulation, maybe even a 3 hour reaccumulation. Yep, 3 hour it's the same, it's the exact same action as the 45-minute. Right? This is the beauty of understanding price from the MentFX way, at least, where like you're thinking left to right and you're thinking in models. 45-minute has no difference than the 3 hour, right? That's how beautiful it is when you start to understand how to think about time frames, okay? So everything is pointing towards that bullishness. And at the same time, 4 hour / 5 hour has proven that it wants to move higher. And that 30-minute, which is our entry time or our validation time frame, is again surfing the 10, the 50, and a rising 200 in general. Not 100%, but general, surfing higher. So I can expect that price, if it wants to set something up, will happen on a lower time frame for a setup. So I head over to my 5 minute. Now my 5 minute, as you can see right now, model-wise is in distribution, okay? But just like last week, is it really in a distribution? Price has made institutional moves higher clearly. However you want to swing them, however you want to draw them, they are clearly moving higher. However you want to swing them, however you want to draw them, they are clearly moving higher. However you want to force them, however you want to draw them, they are clearly moving higher. However you want to force them, however you want to draw them, they are clearly moving higher. So everything for the most part is demonstrating an institutional push to the top side, which means that if I look at a 6 minute, I'm probably in accumulation or reaccumulation. A 7 minute, same thing, right? Let's see, 8 minute. What does it say? Again, I randomize the time frame, but I'm aware because of the movement of price and how it's moving, especially with the models, what time frame, what model it's likely in across multiple time frames. So it allows for me to continue watching it. So back to the 5 minute. Okay, cool. So we're in general accumulation. We're sailing above a 200. We're just at a reaccumulation or flush out of a 5 minute here. So I want to see price likely do what? I want to see it reach up, stop, and go. Literally. And you can see where my entry ended up being, like, as I draw this. But I wait. Prices go. You had the option of buy stopping this, but I didn't like the fact that we had such a large push. And then, this would be like a kind of a late entry. I preferred to go sideways a little more, but gladly enough, it stopped and went down again. So I wait. Pushes up. Now, this is actually a valid entry, okay, guys? So if anybody took this, you're actually really good. This is a great entry. If anybody took this for any reason, it's actually a phenomenal entry. I love it. And then you would break even on this candle for sure, no matter what. Very good. And then you get price pause again, which is perfection for me. And again, you have the exact setup I look for. Well, it's just another ICI setup. It's the same thing, right? You have prices above a 200, a 50 that just flushed out and is now starting to move higher, a 10 that just started surfing price and is just behind price. So I'm going to take the buy stop through that high. Price pauses just before the high, even better for me because it's now setting up that perfect ICI. Again, if I want to draw this, I can, right? Just kind of draw it out. You can look at what it looks like, right? The exact kind of move I look for. And price tapped me in. Okay, price taps me in, I wait. Price is kind of playing around here, I wait. There's nothing for me to do. Still nothing for me to do. And on this candle, I simply move to break even. That's it. I was ready to take a break even on this the second this happened. That's it. There's nothing more for me to do. And all of a sudden, price takes off. Okay, cool. So price is now taking off. It takes off, and then I move my first partial right below this up candle. Again, so it just bursts up. I put my stop right here, 50%. It gets stopped out for 50%. That was my first partial of 2.7R. Then it pauses, it pauses, it pauses. It just swings back and forth, comes really clearly down, but it's still in reaccumulation, pushes up, and again, I set up a buy stop. That's all I do. I get tapped in. I break even on this candle. Then price goes, reaches over 4.6 RR, but putting a stop on it would be here at 1.8, so I ignored it. I was like, I'll let it go higher, and then it stopped me out for a break even. Right there, look at that. Ooh. Beautiful, beautiful. So I take a break even. All right, all good. Let's continue the move. Now, honestly, looking back, this is actually, I don't know why I didn't take this. This is a phenomenal trade right here. This looks like a really good trade. Setting up beautifully. That's a good one if anybody took that. Yeah, so enters it. Maybe one more candle for break even. I remember this now. Yeah, that was crazy. But this is a phenomenal trade. If anybody took this, hats off to you. Very good trade, very good. You break even clearly on this thing. You might even take a partial into this insane strength, but maybe you don't. It don't really matter. I'm gonna get rid of this now. Then price opens up the next week, and I have nothing to do but just hold this thing. So I hold it, I hold it, I hold it. Then it starts going a little bit insane. So I move the stop right under this up candle and instantly got tapped out. And then price started going higher and higher and higher. So I move my stop loss with the double MB rule. You can see there's an MB, there's another MB. I put my stop right there. And price stopped me out with that MB, I believe. So we'll wait now. Yep, there it is. Beautiful. And that was the entire trade. That's all it took. And I got stopped out of the trade right there with the double MB rule. It could have just as easily kept moving significantly higher, but it didn't. And that's fine, because that's how markets move, as we know. Okay. And that was my gold trade this week. Let's see. Took this Ordi USDT on Saturday. Do you have any advice on crypto futures? I use 1 week, 1 day, 4 hours. Is it too overboard? No, it seems fine. Took this. Well, you didn't send a photo. Ordi USD. It doesn't seem like it's on Coinbase, so I wouldn't even trade it. Because I don't trust any other exchange. So I would not be trading it at all, because, yeah, just is what it is. Now you took it on a 4 hour. I mean, I don't see a setup. Even if other time frames are clear, I don't really see a good setup here. It actually looks pretty ugly. I would not trade this now. But if you're profitable on it, then good for you. MentFX, think left to right and think in models. Yep, always. Always, always, always. Hi guys, I was wondering what your rules are when holding trades during news. I have so much content on that throughout the webinars, it's actually insane. I'm taking entries on 15-minute time frames, don't mind losing profits due to news because I know the news is more likely to be in my favor, but I don't want to take a big loss that is a multiple of -1s or put my max daily loss at risk. What are your thoughts and rules? Just start forward testing and start seeing what news do. 15-minute, you don't have to worry about it too much. But it just depends. If you're right at entry price and you have a tighter stop, then of course you want to manage it differently than if you're significantly in profit or if you've already taken partials. It's very dependent. There's no one rule for it, okay? Okay, so that was the gold breakdown of like the gold trade this week, which was a great trade, and again follows the exact same formula that I follow over and over and over again. Since we're over, what, 2 hours in now, right? Yeah, we're just over 2 hours. Let's do a quick breakdown of kind of what I'm looking for in the upcoming week, and then we'll wrap it up for everybody so you guys can enjoy your Sundays. So Bitcoin, it remains on my watch list. It's clear as day. It's so beautiful. The screener has, you know, screamed. The screener screamed. The screener wants this thing to go long, which is great because I'm long on this thing already, so I'm going to continue managing it. But it also has the opportunity to set up this week as well. So very clean, and we'll be watching for a long on GBTC if it continues on the path that it's on right now. It looks really good. I want to see longs on this. Gold, the longs continue. They're as clear as day. Very beautiful. And honestly, into the coming week, you know, there was set up here. I'm going to continue watching for longs on this on a lower time frame. Hopefully we can start another little stage 2. Maybe we go sideways a little bit and then we start one up here or something. Either way, nothing is disproven gold to me just yet, and there's no reason not to watch it. So gold, just like the screener, remains bullish and remains on my list. Let's see, what was else on my list? There we go. Okay. US oil. Oil. Same thing. Oil is very clear, looks good to me. There's nothing that's stopping it right now. Looking at the, screener is as clear as day, extremely bullish. I mean, it's getting way too easy at this point, but it looks good. If the setup presents itself, I don't see why I couldn't take it. The 5 hour could go into a little bit of a more sideways or reaccumulate. That's fine. It might take a little bit later in the week to create some clean setups on it, but it's surfing the rising 50 right now. Definitely can pan up for a nice move higher. So really nothing for me to worry about, and I can follow this thing. You know, as I look at the lower time frame, it's not clear right now for a trade at all. It's actually kind of ugly, but give it some time, let it pan up, and then you can get a nice trade out of this thing. UJ has stayed inside quite a choppy and longer term range for a while. This was where I saw good trades and I really wanted to see continuation, but it didn't continue, failed down, and then failed further down, and is now coming up into an accumulation here. So first thing I want to do is I want to look at a 5 hour, just check out where we are. So that was kind of that flush out. It's still in clear accumulation. It's on a rising 50, on a rising 10. It can definitely move higher. So this might actually be the week for it. Go back to look at a 30 minute and you have like, I mean, I hate the fact that it went sideways like this and then broke down and came up. Something about this says, to me. So I'm probably, even though, you know, some of you might start following it this week, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm going to ignore this thing until it either A, resets again and then comes up here and start watching it, or until it starts breaking higher here and then around here, I'll start watching it again for an entry. Personally, something is off about this. I don't like it. So I'm going to look for one of these two to trade it, okay? Otherwise, it's on my back burner right now. Silver. Silver's definitely on the list now, just like gold. It finally came out of its trashy sideways action. It's starting to accumulate beautifully. It's moving higher. It has the ability to start making a nice stage 2. The 30 minute has started going sideways on a nice 10. It could even come down a little bit more, but that's okay. And yeah, I will definitely look to follow this thing long. Missed the trade here, just like on gold. But if we can reset a little bit and then set up again, like on Monday or something, we're going to be looking at a nice trade there. Let's see what you guys said. You guys said some stuff. What was this? Before and after I started testing ICI, it's crazy. I never believed that could be profitable. What, ICI was what, here? Nice, dude. HGK. So you have overall accumulation. A lot of that sideways has just finally been quenched. Had a very nice stage 2 out of this. Can definitely get another. Yeah, it looks good. 30 minute is in clear accumulation. Reaccumulation, moving higher. I might need a little bit more of a reset now. Might need to come down a bit to start a new move. But yeah, it's looking really good. 5 minute went through a clear blueprint, started accumulating. Yeah, let it come down a little at reaccumulation and then should get a nice setup. So, looks fine. Euro JPY was nice last week. Yeah, maybe back here it was, but Euro JPY actually looks pretty good for upcoming week. Yeah, it looks good. Euro JPY accumulating. Yeah, it could be good for this upcoming week. I'm gonna add it to my list. GU, probably the same as the week before it. Start showing up and watching those webinars. Yep, still shit. Not going to touch it. Exactly the same as the last few weeks. So Jabrowska, you're going to have to go through some of the recent webinars because this thing has remained shit for a while, and I will not touch a shitty moving pair. This is asking to take losses. Ever since, just so you know, ever since right here, I have not watched it. Well, actually, ever since like here, I have not watched it. You can see my last time I took losses on it. Here was the last time I watched it. And since then, the only time it gave you a small opportunity to make some money maybe was here. And you'd have to really predict it well. So that means that if you've been trading this thing for the last 75 days, so about 2.5 months, you've likely been losing money, right? Just showing you the case in point of learn to sit on the sidelines or you're going to lose money. Same thing likely for NZD/USD, right? I think we were bearish on this. We spoke about it going bearish, but it's been doing it kind of ugly, and that still is the case. So, like last week, I would ignore it. EJ, we looked at GJ. Yep, looks like EJ. Looks like UJ. All the same. Can definitely make a move. Longer term sideways, start accumulation. Weird flush out. Not as clear as EJ. Probably just watch EJ. True USDT. Yeah, back here. It's a little late now. 30-minute went through a longer form, like weird accumulation, started accumulation, in accumulation. Yeah, I mean, if this, it can pan up this week for sure. Now it's distributing on the 5-minute. Yeah, I mean, if it starts to come up, maybe to the 0.16 level, 163, you can start watching it, but the trades were here, right? Again, same thing goes. Why did we not trade it here, or here, or here, or here? TUI. When exactly did silver appear on your radar this week? This is what I said to expect the stage 2. So the very start of the week, the stage 2 was becoming likely, but it was still in a little bit of a shitty market. But if you did wait, then here is where it's appeared, around here probably. TUI. I think I just looked at it for a second. It looked terrible, right? Potential accumulation starts coming up. I mean, potential accumulation, a lot of sideways starts coming out of there. Wiki and ugly. Nope, terrible. Oh, you're trading a daily chart? So that means you're using like a weekly. Nope, there's nothing to touch here. This is bearish. Same thing goes for the monthly. So if you're trading this, you should be trading distribution, but right now it's in accumulation, so still nothing. Whether you're looking at this on a lower time frame or higher, there's nothing on this. Terrible. Don't even know why you want to lose so much money. This is the worst thing I've seen in my life. Yikes. This is like this is begging to lose money. This is like saying, no matter how much work I did in this space, please, please, please help me lose my money. This is the worst thing I've seen. Since right this moment here, you should not have been looking at this for anything at any point. Maybe the only time I see you potentially rewatching this market again is maybe here. You might start looking at it and you might take something inside of that, and then it refails back down. No, this is awful. I don't know how this even popped into your like list. What about this? Like, I'll even ask the better question. So Maurice, where do you want to trade this to? What analysis was conducted? I didn't even look at other time frames, but like, where are we going on this? Down, up, sideways? I'll tell you what though, if you're an options trader and you're gonna say it's gonna stay between 760 and 1217 over the next month, then you're gonna make money. Probably. But this is asking to lose money. I don't know what. Look at every time frame. What are on? You just wanted to hear my perspective? What was your perspective when you looked at it? Every time frame is just screaming that it wants to die. Like, what is this? Nothing to trade. Oh, okay. No, he said he's not even trading it, but all right, we'll take that. Looks like AU. Yep. USD CAD. Still kind of moving in this sideways. I think we spoke about it last week and said, yeah, I mean, there's just nothing here. Maybe if it gets up here somewhere. But this is just... The last time we watched this, I believe, was like here with the team to follow it long through this high. And then that never happened. And then it looks like I started trading it here. Honestly, even looking back on my own trading, I should not have been trading it here. It's really not that clear. Really bad of me. Yeah, this is ugly. I mean, it started a potential move, so maybe, but no. Too much sideways. Nothing there. I was looking to lose money when I traded there. E-liquid pair. Tons of wicks. Going sideways a lot. Has one move higher for a potential accumulation. Lower time frame's probably got ugly. Yep. Nothing here, man. US 30. I believe it's just an uglier US 100. Yep. Up, but shit. US 100 is a little bit better. And we've been watching this, but recently there's just been nothing on this. A lot of sideways. A lot of chop. This thing needs time to either swallow whatever it's doing, come down, or get its way above here and then reaccumulate into a setup. Otherwise, there's nothing to touch on these. This is just a sideways market now. What about this move on XPT? What about it? There's nothing to watch. It breaks, and then even if you started watching it, it instantly collapses. So what was there to... There's not even a trade to take. So I don't know what we're looking at there. Like I said, the only thing that looked like it could have started to enter something that might have even given you a trade was likely, if you really want to force it, which I would not have at all, was maybe, just maybe, around here for this stage 2. Or for the start of a larger stage 2. Oh no, sorry, not there, like here-ish. Other than that, there's nothing. This was all ugly. It started to pan up right at this high. There's just nothing there. GBP USD. Ugly. We looked at it, dude. Guys, don't ask me about the stuff we've looked at. It's terrible. It's not good. The same thing is held true. I even went over the fact that since here, I haven't traded this, and I said if you've been trading it, you've been losing money. Very likely. The last 2.5 months has been really ugly on this thing. There's really not been much. ADA. Well, looks like whatever I said back here for this break worked out beautifully. Accumulation started going. Now there's nothing to do. But it was clean, yeah. A little bit wicky, which would probably move myself away from it. Yeah, very wicky. And in no model to be traded right now. So no, I don't see anything here. My finger slipped was supposed to be GBP JPY. We looked at that one as well, buddy. So that's quite the finger slip. Yeah, it's bullish. I think Euro JPY is cleaner though, like I said. Besides silver and Bitcoin, what other pairs you got an eye on? The ones I said. Bitcoin, gold, oil, silver, Euro JPY. JER 30, I believe... Yeah, I believe this was the case last week. It was good moves, and if you didn't get into them, you shouldn't be touching this, and I was right, because, well, you actually got a little bit more of a move, but then a lot of sideways now. So it could be setting up something new. Yeah, I mean, it could set something up soon, but right now, it needs time to absorb whatever move it's in. Yep, it needs time to come up now. This is just flushing out now. Not much to touch. Odd CHF. You're talking about a weird distribution slash accumulation happening on the daily. You're looking at an accumulation or reaccumulation, blueprint into accumulation happening on the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, it could make a small move. Let's look at the 30-minute. 30-minute is institutionally moving nicely. Needs time on the 30-minute, getting quite choppy though. Needs to come out of this, maybe up to the 5-9 areas, and then maybe you can follow it. But yeah, overall, kind of showing bullishness. We can look at the screener. Yeah, so overall kind of bullish, but again, not 100% certain in where it wants to go. So give it time, maybe let it become more accumulation based, and then sure, otherwise there's nothing to touch on this. If you get another market like this one right here, then sure, like up here. Otherwise there's not much to touch on this. They already have AJ. I don't think so, but it's probably the same as the other XXX JPY pairs. Yep, looks the same. Compare them, dude. Compare them. Same thing. Same thing. Wheat futures. Overall bearish, but moving very slowly and not so clearly. Wiki and terrible. Accumulation and terrible. Ignore. Yeah, wheat's ugly. I don't like it at all. John says confused about XBT in 2022 because it looks like it enters accumulation and surfs the rising MAs. I mean, test it. If you would have looked here, then write down the rules that would have allowed you to look here. Look at the trades that were available or not, right? I'm just giving you my quick perspective on what I see on it, and I just saw it being ugly. And I pinpointed an area that kind of looked a little bit clean, but if you would have traded here, then sure, go for it. For me, like, no, I don't know. It goes into a sideways market, fails to go up or down, breaks the low, and then it breaks higher here, and at that point it fails back down. I don't have anything to look at there. Like, it's simple. I went over that. Bank Nifty. So you waited for institutional structure to break long. I waited for it to come out of the sideways action, yeah. Yeah, it's finally entering accumulation. Yeah, it's in accumulation. Can definitely make a move. You have some kind of blueprint. It finally started to resolve that blueprint, which is good. So accumulation starts a reaccumulation, moves higher, breaks down, moves higher, breaks down, breaks higher. Yeah, hard to follow. I don't like these like back and forths. This reminds me actually of US 30. I don't like it. I would wait on this thing for it to become clearer. Yeah, 30 minutes kind of range bound. I guess if this can reaccumulate, move higher, reaccumulate, you could start watching it around here. ZF on the daily. So you're trading like a weekly. As your not a lot of info here, but I guess it's in some form of an accumulation. Quite ugly though. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know what. The weekly's telling you that it's an overall distribution and moving lower. Kind of distribution, moving lower. Blueprint distribution. Yeah, I mean, it's not ready yet, but if it can come up, I mean, it might be actually. Yeah, honestly, it's not terrible. I like it. Something like this is actually not bad. Yeah, looks good. Coffee. Looks like we were looking at the longs. Took a while. Started up. Was in clean accumulation. This should have been your trades. I hope you traded this thing. I hope you're asking me this because you traded it. Yeah, very clear accumulation. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. If you traded this, perfect. Anything along the way here was phenomenal. And you had a ton of entries on the way up. If you're looking at it now, that's very late. Over the last couple of weeks, you've been trading it. Good, yeah. This is a phenomenal market. Congratulations. This is really good. Makes a lot of sense. We started watching it around here, then it failed down, played around, and then here it came up again, paused on the rising, and then beautiful. Yeah, if you started watching here even, it was valid, but if you waited, even here is very valid. So this looks really good. So Isabella, you're gonna make a lot of money since you've been trading this thing and you spotted it beforehand. Beautiful accumulations. Yeah, this is a phenomenal market. Phenomenal. I love it. Even if you traded at the very end of the week right here, this is all still perfection, right? Starts up, starts surfing nicely, and then late that week, if you traded like 5 minute or lower, yeah, like this is phenomenal, right? Perfect trade, perfect trade. A little bit late, in my opinion, but these ones, if you entered either one of those, that was really good. So congratulations. Feel free to post it if you did take one though. Yeah, this is great. Good eye and good spot if you traded that up. It's really good. And now you would simply wait for another reset, like pull back to probably like even the 20, because you can see these are all straight up now, so you should be managed on this. Let it pull back, let it go through its move, and then you'll get another one around here over time. But this is gonna need time now. Like, I'll add it to my list because it is quite clean. I'm gonna make it yellow though because it needs a good amount of time right now to set up. But you guys got it. I'll see you, King. Have fun, bro. We're about to wrap this up anyway, so gotta get some food with the family. Yeah, guys, very good eye, Isabella, on this. Very good. And you can see like how much action you got to eliminate by waiting for this, right? Like, look, ever since this beautiful bullishness, if you started to not watch it anymore around here, that's what would have probably happened. And then you had nothing, weird distribution, weird accumulation, weird distribution, then accumulation finally happened, made its way higher, finally broke out of this nonsense, started beautiful accumulation, right? This is where we started watching it. And then you waited and you traded it here over the last 2 weeks. That is literally perfection, right? And now you've eliminated this nonsense to potentially trade this next incline higher to like, what, just over this high likely, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm adding coffee to my list for now. It's yellow because it needs time now to set up. So hopefully the move doesn't go without me like we spoke about today. But if this can shape up, then this is definitely a watcher for me. Okay, definitely. Very good eye. Surprised you're not dead from all the analysis. I mean, I do this every day, so if I can do anything while being out of energy, it's analyzing something. Okay. That's if I can do anything when I'm dead, is I can analyze something and decide if I'm gonna trade it or not. Wow, do you guys remember this Ethereum back here? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you can't make it up. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, same thing goes for Ethereum. It's just like Bitcoin, looks really good. Can definitely continue this move higher. 5 hour is in redistribution right now, but it's in kind of cleared redistribution with an accumulation. So again, this is like one of those John moments, right? I'm sure you see it where it says redistribution. It might be clean, right? But everything, even like a 2 hour is going to point to maybe, no, actually like a 12 hour is going to point towards bullishness, likely. Yeah. So now you have a reaccumulation here. So like as it moves higher here, that 5 hour is going to show still redistribution, right? But if it starts setting up, or even if it pushes higher and then sets up, I'm not looking for shorts. I'm waiting for the ability to get long on this, right? And then there's going to be a nice trade. And I think there is a stock on it. Yeah, there's the trust. So I'm going to add this trust as well. Not trust, but whatever it's called. Because I believe I can trade this thing as well. So I'm going to add this to the list just in case it sets up better than Bitcoin. But you can see it's like the exact same thing as Bitcoin, just less nice, right? This is where I traded Bitcoin, but then Bitcoin was super clean and Ethereum was like a little bit uglier, like kind of harder to find. So I assume the same thing is going to be true this upcoming week. You can see this is already shaping up very nicely for a long, and this thing is like super weak. It's under like a downwards moving 50 kind of back and forth distribution, and then Bitcoin is just, it doesn't want to go lower. The 200 is still rising. This thing is trying to set up. So you know what, Ethereum's gonna go down here for now. I'm just gonna keep it in the list, but I'm not gonna trade it likely. Okay guys, that's 2 hours 30 minutes. Let's wrap it up. Listen, thank you all. For those of you that are still here right now, thank you all for being here. It's always nice to start off a week like this, in my opinion. Just get your kind of mind straight, look at some of the markets that are potentially setting up, look at the stuff that worked the previous week, and then seek it out in the upcoming one. So, thank you everyone. Have a lovely day. Thank you all for being here.